Okay, I'm letting you draw this part, bud.
Yay. Okay, we should pull up those interviews. I keep getting hit up with guide point requests, but I don't have.
Yeah, well, you know the accounting aspect.
Okay, perfect.
So we
let's see,
have
so let me go-
Badal first.
And bear with me here. I'm going to pull up the resumes that you had sent us.
Yes.
In theory, if I can get to my right screen. There we go. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so bear with me for just a brief second. Ted and I had a couple notes on each one on what we liked, and I just have to remember who is who. Email management, okay, bill.com, coding bank accounts, weekly receipts, payroll calcs and journal entries, entering from credit card statements, accounting software. Reconciliation, state taxes, loan accounts, good. Month end. Oh, I remember his hobbies, playing football and eating food. I got a kick out of that. That was great. It's okay. I think I am ready for Badal.
Okay.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, Badal. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm Eric. This is my business partner, Ted. And this is our first time through this. So we're brand new to this outsourcing. We
Yes.
have a lot of new work coming in where this is our best way of figuring out how to get it all done. So did Shivam tell you anything at all about us, or are you coming in blind?
No, I will be telling for myself.
Yeah, but do you know anything about us yet?
No.
No.
Okay, no worries. So brief 30,000 foot view, we're a bookkeeping firm. We don't do any taxes. Most of we do outsourced accounting for other companies to where we're taking care of the whole accounting process.
Yes.
A lot of our clients are small, but we're starting to get bigger ones to where if eventually we'll have a full-time person dedicated to one particular client. So we don't yet know where you would fit in yet, but we'll figure that out. Can you, I'm looking at your resume and it's talking, I'm just going to start at the top here, and it mentions coding bills and bill.com. What kind of experience do you have? Can you tell me about your accounts payable, the bills, the bill payment, things along that route, and what you're familiar with?
Yes, actually, on the part of financial statement, I have experience of full balance sheet items like cash, account receivable, amortization of prepaid expenses, and coming to the fixed asset part, and shareholder funds, accounts payable, notes payable, accrued expenses. So
Okay.
in the accounts payable part, the process is like we invite quotations from vendors. So after submission of quotations, we do select a few of them, and then doing the agreement with them. After that, we start our purchase order. Then they provide goods. Then we record the goods and start the processing of payment.
Okay.
Yes.
So is there sometimes we have higher volume versus lower, sometimes it's dealing with inventory. some of the other things that come up with accounts payable and payables processing is making certain that things aren't doubled up, making certain that these are consistent with prior month transactions and whatnot. Are you familiar, or do you typically, is that part of your process of what you go through to make certain that payables are correct?
Yes, I'm very much familiar with the process. I do have experience of fluctuation analysis. So
Okay,
we do follow fluctuation analysis so that each the recurring expenses or recurring income should be recorded each month.
gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
Let's see here. One thing that slows us down sometimes is we're waiting on customers for information, so we end up having often tasks that we can start, but then we have a question on. So we try to group those to ask a client. You had mentioned email management in yours. I'm assuming that that goes towards task management as well, as far
Yes,
as
that's the basic part.
managing outstanding items.
Yeah, basic. That's a basic thing. It's our
You
daily
would
activity.
think it is, but we run into a lot of people that it's not, unfortunately. So that's good.
Yes.
Let's see here. You talked about payroll calculations.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about your payroll experience?
Yeah, the process is like client provides PDF or Excel sheet. In that they mentioned the employee pay hours, overtime, and holiday pay, sick pay. According to that, I am entering those transactions or those recordings in QB.
Okay.
After that,
Okay.
I'm looking if client is using direct payment option to employee, then I need to tick the direct payment box. After that, I'm doing
Gotcha.
the reconciliation considering the PDF or Excel sheet as base.
Yep.
Then
Yeah, go ahead.
can I continue?
No, yeah, please do. Thank you.
Then I'm working on the tax part. What much tax liabilities this should be calculated. Then after that, I'm closing the all the entries and doing the main journal entry in our books.
Perfect. So along the liabilities, both for the taxes, have you gone through and reconciled liability accounts for benefits and things like that as well? And I'll give you an
Yes.
example in a moment. Okay. I'll give you an example of one that we have right now. So the first thing that we're looking at is we have a large client that we're going to probably be dedicating at least half time to, maybe a little more right at first. This client, their prior bookkeeper did not do payroll correctly. So we have to go back and do a 2021 payroll audit.
Yes.
And that's going to involve getting all of the, making certain that we deducted the right amounts for healthcare, making certain that that employee advances and things like that. So if someone got paid early, that it was later deducted from their pay, things like that. It sounds like that's something that you'd be provided you're given the right information. It's something that's right in your wheelhouse. Is that accurate?
No, actually, we do believe in audited financial statement. If some prior year changes required, then we need to pass the adjusting entry for the current year.
Correct. Yes. Yeah, but right. So we have not closed the prior year yet. So we still have time to correct this, but it won't change any of the payroll entries for last year. Apparently I'm dropping stuff, sorry. It won't change any of the entries for last year, but if we needed to figure out, I mean, we'd be able to give you the statements saying, here's all of the medical insurance statements. Here's the payroll records. Follow through and make certain that this person should have had this much taken out and they actually had this much taken out so that we can make the corrections in the current year. It sounds like you can do that.
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, wonderful. Fortunately, a lot of the things that we do are fairly simple. We do get into some more complex, unraveling, because our clients have done things incorrectly. So
Yes.
we break this into small pieces we'll be able to guide you. And one thing that's important for Ted, and there's 9 of us, 9, yeah, here. So you'd be working with different people, but I want to make certain that we can give you direction, especially
Yes.
since our time zones are different, but that we can give you some direction and that you can proceed as much as you can and be able to keep coming back and asking questions.
Yes, I'm fully comfortable with it.
Perfect. Tell me about your attention to detail.
Sorry.
Your attention to detail. There's both accuracy and speed, and these are 2 different things. We unfortunately had to let someone go in-house because their attention to detail wasn't where we needed it to be. If we're giving you stuff, we're fine with questions and helping you through things. But if we have to go back and check the math and check how things are done, then it doesn't work for us. We might as well do it ourselves in the first place. So what kind of things do you have in place to make certain that when you enter things that they're accurate?
Since I have more than 3 years of experience, I have handled this situation before. Initially, it was slow going for me, but now I'm very much comfortable. Like
Okay.
I'm focusing on efficiency.
Yeah.
So that will not be an issue from my side.
Okay.
I will cross check the PDF or the Excel with in very quick time, I can say.
Good deal. Let's see here. I'm looking through your resume at the same time, so I appreciate it. There are just a few things that I needed to look at. Let's see, open invoices, follow scheduled payments of adjustments. Then I want to back up just a little bit. I had mentioned bill.com, and this is something that we've used a little bit. We have not used a lot. Can you tell me about your experience with that? Because this is something that we're going to be leveraging for a lot of clients.
Actually, that is an add-on to the process. Very few suppliers are registering themselves in the build.com site, I can say. So
Okay.
those who are registered in that, the vendor, the supplier can, or the party can pay directly to them through wheel.com.
Mm-hmm. Have you done, there's 2 sides to bill.com. There's the actual payment of the accounts payable, the bills out to our vendors. And then there's the management of our customers through there that we send out. And have you worked with that at all? As far as integrating that with QuickBooks, not the setup process, but more managing it, making certain that things are flowing properly from bill.com over to QuickBooks?
Yes, I have done that. And
okay.
Yes.
Let's see here. It says you're familiar with both QuickBooks Online and desktop. Can you tell me about your experience with QuickBooks?
I'm more familiar with QuickBook Online.
Okay.
Major experience with QuickBook Online.
Okay.
The work procedure is it's fully simple, I can say. It's a like flexible working and all. It's a nice software which makes our daily work easier.
Right. So do you have no experience in QuickBooks Desktop or just more experience in online?
More experience in online. I do have experience in QuickBook Desktop, and I do have experience in Xero also. Okay.
And frankly, we don't use Xero. It's the reporting of it is somewhat quirky. And so for similar costs, we tend to go towards QuickBooks. Have you ever used desktop QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise?
Yes, I have used both online and desktop. So
well, within desktop, you have Pro and Premier. And then you have the more complex version, which is Enterprise, which will often deal with more inventory, larger transaction and customer counts and things like that. Have you used the Enterprise as well?
Yes. In the initial period, I have used that software, and then I moved to the online version.
Okay, perfect. do you have any experience with managing inventory?
Actually, being a virtual staff, managing inventory is little bit tough.
Yep. Well, and so not necessarily managing it, but adjusting it within QuickBooks. So we have very briefly here, because we can take care of some of this in-house if we need to. I have a particular client that has a complex inventory, and we're simplifying it for this year. There's two primary methods: periodic inventory and perpetual inventory. The perpetual inventory is where you're tracking everything that goes in, every item and whatnot. Periodic inventory, at least in QuickBooks, is more on a GL basis. So we're saying we have 12 of these, and our replacement cost is $12. It's $144 of cost, and making those entries. I would imagine that more falls under the entering of journal entries and things, more so than actually managing inventory. But there are some items that we do still track, you know, especially they're big items and whatnot that need serial numbers and things like that. Have you done any of that all in QuickBooks? Because that does affect bills, and it does affect customer invoices as well.
Yes, I am fully exposed to that. I do have experience of what perpetual inventory as well as periodic inventory, and I have followed the entire process. I'm more familiar with that.
Wonderful. Let's see. That answers most of my questions along with this, with what I'm seeing here. How long have you worked with Integrity?
Actually, last month I joined, and currently I'm in the training. I'm learning about that work process, actually, how the work culture is, how people are dealing with the clients and all. So every organization has different goals and objectives. So I'm following Integrity's goals and objective. So it will be nice if you are hiring me, and I will start working with you, and I will add more and more value to your organization. And we do have what 10 to 15 years experience, long-term experience, connection and all.
What would success look like for you here if we start working together? What's an ideal? What makes this a win for you as well, and where you want to continue working with us at Integrity?
I personally believe in real-time problem solving. Sometimes situation arise that we were previously not used to that work, but you still have the courage and capacity within you to solve the problem and deliver the correct work in correct time to the client. So I believe in this only.
And what did you do before this?
I was working in another organization, which I can't reveal the name. That's confidential.
No, and that's fine.
That's cool.
But it's similar.
Fully similar.
So what type of work were you doing on your contracts there?
Contractor.
Well, no. So when you were working with this other company, what type of work were you doing?
Oh, Sam, the resume defines me, and I have worked accordingly. And my work is like as per US GAAP. I am more versed with the accounting standard codification, such as revenue recognition, and lease accounting, depreciation as per accounting standard codification 360. Calculation of impairment loss, and then presenting.
And frankly, we do very little of that, because a lot of our clients, so all of our stuff fits through to the CPAs that do the work, that do the actual taxes, but we're working with smaller clients that often are not accruing expenses. They're not, they're often using a modified cash or modified accrual, so somewhere in the middle. We really have you heard of the KISS principle, the keep it super simple?
Yes.
We really try to. Ted has another way that he says it, but we really try to make certain that everything is as simple as possible. That's accounting isn't tough if you break it down into small pieces.
Yes, actually.
Yes. Let's see. Okay, so I have that. Ted, do you have any questions? I feel comfortable with everything that I asked.
No, I was comfortable with the answers that I heard, and you know, you answered the question before I had a chance to ask it, which was, you know, how long have you been there, and proficiencies with QuickBooks and, you know, accounting in general. So yeah, I like the attitude that I heard, and yeah, the answers that I heard. So I'm good.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, well, Vidal, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. We do have a few more people to meet. Ted and I are trying to make a decision right away. So when we're done with these interviews, we're going to be meeting with the rest of our team. We're going to be talking about, you know, what we see in addition to the skill set that we talked about. You know, we're looking for attitude. You had great attitude. That's an
Oh,
important
thank you.
thing.
Thank
Ted
you.
and I both believe that it's one of the only things that we can really control. I can't control what's going to happen to me, but I can control how I'm going to react to it. So keeping that positive attitude, but the experience and the different things that you do really matter as well here. So I'm pretty comfortable. Do you have any questions for us that you'd like to
Actually,
find
I
out?
want to add one more thing. I belongs
Yes.
to southern part of India.
Okay.
So people from South India are very much hardworking and punctual in their
Okay.
daily routine. So the distance from here to there is 2,000 miles.
Wow.
I'm staying.
My geography is horrible. Ted is much better than I am with that, but it's I mean, wow. Yeah, I didn't realize it was that far.
So
Big
if you are
country.
hiring,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it will be a nice experience if we are connecting together in future.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about that. So, well, wonderful. Well, if you don't have any more questions, we'll go ahead and keep going on. We'll be making a decision pretty quickly.
Yes, I'm calling the next
Awesome.
candidate. And before
Okay.
that, it was a awesome experience with the people.
Likewise. And you were our first, so thank you for making it so easy.
Yes, thank you. Okay,
Awesome.
Take
please
care.
stay tuned for a few seconds. I'm calling the next candidate.
Sounds
Okay,
great.
perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Okay, for that one. Sorry, trying to do our still residuals.
Is the bass still too loud?
No, it was just ridiculous.
Oh, no, right at the beginning. I caught that. I didn't know what was causing it, but I think I turned down the gain. and everything.
Okay, so we only got paid for one so far. Coming into it. Yep. But that can be trained. There we go.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. What about you guys?
Doing well. And I'm sorry, I didn't get your name yet.
It's Manan Mehta.
Okay, wonderful. I'm going to pull up your resume here just so I have this name. Give me just a quick second if you don't mind. So I didn't know who was coming next. I just want to
Yeah.
review this again here real
Sure.
quick. Thank
No
you.
worries.
Okay, perfect. Rules and bank feeds. Okay, wonderful. So I'll give you just a very quick rundown of who we are. So we primarily do bookkeeping. Okay, we do some outsourced accounting. For the main difference is just the size of the client and how involved we are with them.
Okay.
So some of our clients take, you know, a couple hours a quarter. Others take almost a full-time position. So it's there's a balance there. We have 9 of us here on site in-house right now, and one of the reasons we're looking at this, it's been hard to find people here that are reliable and willing to work. So this is our first shot at outsourcing. We are we're not just handing stuff off. We are working with our team members as well on things. So there would be a lot of back and forth on tasks and things like
Yeah.
that for different clients. But and we're still improving things, but we do have a lot of our processes and whatnot. So we're not just giving you messes. There are some messes that we have to unravel. Okay. Can you tell me, so I can get a lot of the information from the resume, but I want to drill down on a few different things here.
Yeah.
It looks like, so it says that you're familiar both in QuickBooks Online and desktop, but can you tell me about your, experience with each?
Yeah, sure. So when I started my journey, I mean, when I started working, I was also getting my educational knowledge. I'm an inter-chartered accountant. So chartered accountancy is a course in India. I mean, they are qualified to work in the field of audit, work as an auditor and work in the field of accounting and taxation. So I've cleared its inter part, only final is left. So because I started working along with getting my education, slowly I was given firstly the task only for recording bank transactions and credit card transactions in QuickBooks Desktop as well as QuickBooks Online. So in QuickBooks Online, you know, there's cards and bank connected to the account. So we just update the bank feeds, and as soon as the transactions hit in the bank feeds, we just categorize them. If they are recurring, then we make rules so that time is saved. In QuickBook Desktop also we can create CSVs and upload all the transactions at once if that is possible. If transactions are less, then we can record them individually also without wasting time on CSV, making CSV and all. So there were different clients use different some clients used QuickBooks Online and some clients used QuickBooks Desktop. So I got exposure of both of them. So I worked on both, and I have I mean, I can work on, I have a good hand on both of them. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Let's see here. You talked about both AP and AR management. Can you are there any particular systems? Have you done more of that in desktop versus online, or have you leveraged bill.com or anything like that before?
Yeah, so as I said, I worked on both because there was not on clients were for both the softwares. So I also worked on bill.com. So we just upload the bills on bill.com, whichever is received from inbox, and then we sync it to the QuickBooks Online or desktop, whichever it is. So bills are already recorded. We get the AR aging or AP aging reports. So the what our bills are open or invoices are open, we get information of that, and we can confirm it with the client, right? So so if there's any issue, invoice or bill that is due for more period than it should be, then we can just confirm whether we have categorized it somewhere else or coded it to some other vendor or data or receivable. So we can do it. And yeah, I have worked on AR AP as well. So in AR, we can also transfer the funds to undeposited accounts. I mean, there's also a system where if we get information of receiving checks and payments like that, and the transaction gets hits the bank afterwards, then we can just deposit those checks and amounts in undeposited account. And when the transaction hits the bank, we can clear the undeposited account, right?
Yep. Wonderful. And sorry, I'm taking some notes at the same time.
No worries.
Okay, so with that, it sounds like reconciling to vendor statements and things like that is no problem.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Let's see. What about cash flow reports? Well, we often put things like this together to where we're saying, okay, here's your, if we've done a mid-month or a weekly reconciliation of their bank accounts and credit card accounts and their payables and whatnot, we're often putting together a simple cash flow statement. You're familiar with the KISS principle, the keep it super simple.
Sure.
Yeah. We try to make everything as simple as possible. Accounting doesn't have to be tough. We just have to break it down into small pieces. So with the cash flow report, we're just putting bank account. This is what we anticipate might come in from receivables. This is what we suggest paying based on due dates, discount dates, available cash, and here are the auto payments, and here's how much you're going to be left over, or how much you need to pull from a credit line. It sounds like there's no problem with doing any of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So when you said that we need to keep it simple, so our clients hire us, we don't have to make it tougher for them, right? So if we can, if we can help them, if we can make it simple for them, then it's best for them.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been standing and I'm readjusting here.
Take your time. No worries. No worries.
Let's see. So in our talks here, you've talked a lot about multiple clients. So in your past roles, have you? Well, so first off, how long have you been with Integrity? Is this a new process for you?
No, with Integrity, I've been for about 8 months now.
Okay, good. So can you tell me about the other? You mentioned helping multiple clients and whatnot.
Yeah.
Are there any particular industries that that you worked on with these other clients?
So actually, the thing is, I'll explain it to you. My father's friend was a chartered accountant, and he had a friend who was a CPA in US. So what the CPA used to do is he used to outsource his work to my father's friend, and I was employed with my father's friend. So we used to work on those projects from here and submit it to them. And then they would just finalize it and submit it. For that, I worked on bookkeeping and taxation as well, both. I have worked on payroll report returns, as well as sales tax and sales tax for California as well as Texas.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, and we're just north of California here in Oregon. Fortunately, we don't have sales tax here, but we do sometimes deal with that with clients that are in other states and whatnot, and all of the principles apply. So that's good. One other, about what was the time commitment for an average client that you worked with? I mean, were you spending, a day a week on it? Were you spending more, or maybe, a few hours a month, or what did an average client look like?
40 hours a week.
Well, that was your time, but I mean, for the other, you worked with multiple clients.
Okay, so
so per client, what were you looking at?
Yeah, what size of business?
But it depended on what was the size of that business, right? So average, I would say about 10 to 12 hours a week, I would say.
Okay. So that's a good median for us as well. Those are our bigger clients that fall around that. Again, we have one that this position that we're hiring, and our immediate need is we have a large client that we're replacing 2 full-time people for. Now we're making the all of the processes more efficient. So it won't take 2 full-time people when we're done. I think it's going to take 1 full-time person, which would be half to 3/4 from someone from the Integrity team, and a quarter to half from from our team. We're doing most of the communication with the client, and you'd be communicating with us. If this is a fit, especially with your experience with multiple clients, we're simplifying all of our process for our smaller clients. So we know we're going to have some of those too. One thing Ted and I are really good at is uncovering highest and best use of the people that we work with. So as we work together, we're going to figure out what you're best at. And that's the type of work that we're going to put your direction. Does that make sense?
Yes, perfect.
So it looks like on here you have a lot of payroll experience.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's more, so a lot of the processing of payroll we're going to be doing here, but there's still a lot of setup and reconciliation and things like that. So I'll give you an example of a problem that I had yesterday. It was a fun one. I would have loved to have you to help me yesterday, but anyway, and day before. But so we have a client that they have about 65 employees, and their prior bookkeeper did payroll incorrectly.
Okay.
So they did not have it set up right. So the right taxes didn't come out and things like that based on jurisdiction. They are not willing to go back to the prior year and fix it, but we have to make certain that this year is correct.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we have to do is sit down and say, okay, each of these employees should have had this amount taken out. For each of these taxes. Some people are north of us in Washington, and some are here. It's primarily Oregon and Washington, and there's different taxes that go.
Yeah.
So one sidebar question. I see mostly California. Are you familiar with any Oregon or Washington taxes yet?
I have for California, I worked on D9, D9C. That is
Okay.
we file from EDD portal, and
Mhm.
I have filed 941 as well as 940.
Okay.
There's employment training tax, right, in California, and
Yeah.
as
Yep.
unemployment insurance and as state disability insurance, those are all normal. And
Okay.
SUTA is
Have you
also
done anything with Oregon or Washington yet?
no, not
Okay.
Oregon.
And that's okay.
Yeah, obviously.
If you had it, it'd be great. But if not, we can train on those.
Yes.
So what we have to do is we have to figure out what it should be, and then we can make the adjustments, on this end. Especially at the beginning, I'm very particular about what goes into the payroll system. I have to manage a lot of that, but putting the information together and whatnot, it sounds like that's right in your wheelhouse, that this is something that you'd be able to do. Okay, wonderful. Can you, let's see, and forgive me as I go through here, as we do more interviews, I'm have to figure out, okay, did I, did I talk with you about this or did I talk with someone else? So I'm, let's see, how are you on, okay, oh, perfect. I just saw here knowledge regarding cash flow statement. I missed that before, so that's beautiful. Budget forecasting. How are you with technology as far as, so we have a remote hosted server that we log into. We use Microsoft Teams to communicate, and Outlook. We have different systems that we log into. We're starting to use bill.com. We track our time with T-Sheets, or now QuickBooks Time. So we have a few different things like this. We use SharePoint for a lot of our files. This sounds like something that you're also familiar with.
Yes, exactly. For QuickBooks Time,
Okay.
we clock in and clock out for each client that we work in, right? So we can switch. I worked on each and every software you said, that would be Teams and Outlook and T-Sheets. I worked on each and every one of those.
Okay, wonderful. Let's see. We talk about bank reconciliation, point of sale reconciliation. I like that because that's a big one. Let's see. I'm going to. Well, I've read through it, but I'm skipping by the tax return prep because we don't do any of that in-house here.
Okay.
But the good thing there is, it sounds like because you've done these, that you can actually read these statements.
Yes, of course.
Okay. At the beginning of every project, we need to make certain that whatever their prior year information said on their Schedule L for their 1120S, for example, the balance sheet matches QuickBooks.
Obviously, we need to match the opening balances, right? So
perfect. Truing up with the trial balance between the old and the new is pretty easy for you.
Yeah.
Or at least identifying the differences so that we can drill down.
Yeah.
Okay. What about inventory? I don't see anything in that. Have you dealt with much inventory?
So inventory management was done from employer part only. So generally what some of the clients I have worked on, we used to just pass a journal entry. So there's opening inventory and then they value their closing inventory. And then we just used to pass a journal entry for the difference. Because it was for bigger clients, it was maintained product wise also. But because it was maintained product wise, we didn't have to do much about it.
No worries. So if you're doing journal entries, then you're doing more of a periodic inventory than a perpetual inventory. Okay. So inventory, and so my only concern on that is that with inventory in QuickBooks, if you're using inventory, that affects your customer invoices, your vendor bills, and things like that as well. Now, of course, it's just using certain items, but sometimes it comes up with using units of measure. It comes up with different site locations. It comes up with tracking different different sales reps and things like that on the invoices, and all of these feed through. Are you familiar with that side of it as far as the bills and the invoices? At least
Yes.
using those on? Okay, but the back end, you know, at least that periodic inventory is fine, but making inventory adjustments in QuickBooks per item with values, you might need a little help with at the beginning.
At the beginning, I have worked on it, and I won't say that I know it everything, but if you can just show me, then it will work. I won't take a
Perfect.
lot of time in learning. That's what
Yeah,
I'm-
okay, and we're, as I mentioned, Ted and I are good at figuring out highest and best use. So
Yeah.
we're also pretty good at training on these different things. And we do a lot of that here, you know, trying to raise our team up, and we'd want to do the same thing with you as we get forward. We have to get a lot of these things done, but I got one more, well, a couple more, but next main question is, a lot of this stuff, I know you were used to working like 1 day a week per client.
Yeah.
Some of ours, as we mentioned, are a few hours a month,
Okay.
or quarter.
Yeah.
Others are half time. You know, it might be 3-4 days on one client.
Okay.
So, two different questions there. How are you with handling multiple outstanding tasks and items? And
Mhm.
on the other side, does the monotony of doing the same thing over and over again, does that wear you down?
No, so I'll say, first of all, handling a lot of tasks at one time, right? So
Yep.
one thing is, if we are performing tasks every day, then we won't have to worry about due dates. If we are trying to complete the tasks at the end only for each client, then the due date will come and we'll have to work in hurry. So if
Okay.
we are regular in our bookkeeping, one of the most important thing our clients want is timely and accurate data, right? So if we can't
Yep.
provide it to them, they also have to make informed decisions based on what bookkeeping we have done. So if they can't get the reports and everything on time, then they won't be able to make informed decisions. So first of all, we need to work in a disciplined manner. And as I said, I am an inter-chartered accountant. So I love the field of accounting. So it is not like it's a monotonous work for me.
Right.
Because there's new things in everything, new expenses, and each and everything can come out. Something will come out new if in each and everything if we look it towards it. So it's not monotonous for me.
I love that. Okay. And what do we need to do for this to really be a win for you to feel fulfilled and want to stay here?
As you said that you have a lot of, there are lots of clients of different sizes, right?
Yeah.
And I also went through your website. I saw that
Wonderful.
so there's different kind of testimonials that are there for you and Ted, that said that you guys are very good at handling the business processes. You guys also work in QuickBooks setups and payroll. Along with bookkeeping, that is accounting, I also like to work on payroll, because there we have to, after processing payroll, we also need to record those journal entries from the payroll reports, where we, debit the employer expenses and employer part of payroll, and then credit the liability. So there are a lot of technical things that we need to look into, and I like to dig into those things. Because I am getting the educational knowledge as well in my chartered accountancy course, and if I'm able to apply it while working it practically, then it's the best, right?
Yep.
I
love that. That's a payroll. So we do very little full payroll in here. We're usually leveraging other systems like Paychecks or ADP, which I'm not a big fan of, but we do a lot of QuickBooks payroll. Have you done any of that?
Yeah, so we feed all the information in QuickBooks for relating to employees and all, and it will just process the payroll for us. So yeah, I worked on that as well. And I if just wanna let you know that I also processed the payroll taxes on EFTPS portal and EDD portal for clients as well.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Go on.
Oh no, I was just acknowledging that using the EFTPS site.
Yeah. Let's see here. I feel pretty comfortable with what I see here.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to ask us?
one thing I would ask is, what do you guys look for in an employee while you try to hire them?
Attitude is a huge one.
Okay.
And then followed by problem solving. So with attitude, I have two sons that I preach this to all the time is I can't control what's going to happen to me, but I can control how I'm going to react to it. So
Yeah.
we try to have positive attitude. We work on problems. We're not big on blaming, but we are big on accountability. So that's a huge one for us.
Yes.
We're going to make mistakes. We just need to deal with the issues and work through them. So
Yeah.
we want to be able to treat each other with respect. That's a huge one for us. I find that's something when people are treating others with disrespect, that's something that has, and I don't anticipate that happening, but that's one of those things that get Ted and I fired up.
Yeah.
And the third one is problem solving, along with attention to detail. And it through our communication here, I feel pretty comfortable with a lot of this as well. So those are generally the big things that we're looking at.
Okay. Great.
Yep.
Well, wonderful. We do have a few more to do. We are trying to make a decision really quickly here,
Okay.
because we are turning away clients right now because we're so busy. So again, I feel pretty comfortable with this. We should hopefully have an answer by tomorrow.
No worries. Take your time.
Okay.
It was really great to talk to you guys.
It's Manan, correct?
Yeah, Manan. Yeah.
Manan. Okay, wonderful. I wanted to make certain I was pronouncing your name right. Thank you, Manan. I appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Hope to talk to you soon.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye. It's a Turkish sauna in here because the heat's on when I have my door closed. Yeah.
Hello, good morning.
Hi there. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm doing great. And I'm sorry, it doesn't tell me ahead of time. What's your name?
My name is Nikhil.
Okay, wonderful. I want to make certain I pull up your resume here as well. And give me just a brief moment to read through this, okay?
Okay.
And I've read through it before, but I want to refresh myself.
Okay. My name is Nikhil, and I have completed my master's in a commerce field in 2017. After that, I have started working with a CPA firm, which are from USA, but situated in India. So I work with them, and I have started as a bookkeeper. Then I have learned payroll and taxation part also. I read accounting in QuickBooks Online, TaxEc, Sage Intake, Sage 50, and for the taxation, I have used TaxEc, CCH Access, and my hobby is listening music and driving a bike in off-road.
Okay, beautiful. Give me just a second here. I want to finish reading through here just so that I can ask some appropriate questions here.
Okay, sure.
Reconciliation basic 10. Okay, good. Cash flow statement, W-2s, and yeah, we just got through our W-2s and 1099s. Those were fun. Where were you a month ago? And tax responsibility. Okay, good deal. So so I'll give you a brief 30,000-foot view of us, so you know what we're doing here. We are primarily a bookkeeping and an outsourced accounting firm. So and the main difference between the two in our eyes, between bookkeeping and outsourced accounting, is the amount of work that we're doing with the client and the size. We have some clients that take us a couple hours a quarter. The vast majority of our smaller clients will take a half a day a month. But then we have, other clients that are taking a day a week, and another one that we're replacing 2 full-time people with. So, initially that's our immediate need, is someone that can help us with this big one that we're replacing 2 people with. We're going to be able to get this down to where it only needs 1 person, probably 3/4 time, half to 3/4 time for someone from your team, or you or someone from your team, and quarter to half from ours. So but we'll be the clients that you'd work on would be different, potentially month to month, based on what's coming in and things like that, as us bringing a new one. How are you at handling multiple clients and juggling back and forth? Because we have a number that we're going through at one time.
Okay, so first of all, I prepared some Excels for clients, which are bookkeeping or for taxation, and I do multiple tasks. I have complicate the multiple tasks, so that whenever I complete one task in one client, so I put a tick mark on any special notes to them. So whenever I start the client, so I can review a past note, and from that I can start my work.
Okay,
So
okay, perfect. We don't do any taxes here, but it is good that you understand tax returns, because we
yes.
do have to true up to the prior tax returns and whatnot at the beginning. So reconciling between a client's return and their books to make certain that things match, it sounds like that's right in your skill set.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about your payroll experience. So let me put that through the right lens. We do a lot of reconciliations for setting up payroll and making certain it's right, but we don't do a lot of full processing in-house. We're leveraging other systems. So reconciling and making certain that people were charged the right amounts, and we'd give you the information so you know what is where. But medical insurance, supplemental insurance, retirement plans, things like that, if people are putting money in, we need to be able to track that, both through the GL, making certain that the right amounts were collected and paid, but also through payroll. Have you done any of that before?
Yes, I have done it that before. I have reconciled the statements. Also, I have prepared a quarterly returns for 941.
Okay,
I have
good
input
deal.
the amount and paid that too quarterly. Also, I am passing entries on a monthly basis whenever the payroll happens.
Okay. So recording those back to the books, if it is in a different system,
Yeah.
was wonderful. You mentioned point of sale reconciliation, like with Toast. Have you worked with any other systems other than Toast?
I have Stripe. I have worked on a Stripe.
Okay.
Also, sorry, I forgot the second one name.
Well, no, Toast is the one that you had on here, but the process is the same almost no matter what system that you
software
work
is.
on. I just didn't
Yeah.
know what you had. We have, and we're not doing this for a client yet, but Ted has a client that he manages, which has 4 or 5 Dairy Queen fast food restaurants, and being able to, we're not right now, but being able to reconcile between that point of sale to this is something that we'd love to be able to offer them, but we don't have the bandwidth yet. So we haven't, but it sounds like that's something that's right up your alley as well.
Yes, I have work.
Okay.
I work on it. I did it in Stripe and one another software. I'm really very sorry, but I forgot that name. But I know how to do that.
Okay, no worries. You talk about accounts payable management and accounts receivable management. Can you tell me about some of your experience? Let's start with payables.
Yes, for the accounts payable, I have managed it in a QuickBooks and Bill.com. in QuickBooks, I have generated invoices and maintain their payments with their credits. So whenever credit, I have paid that amount and did it in a bank. Uh, paid through the bank, and for the account receivable, I used bill.com to record bills and invoices in bill.com, and directly synced it with the QuickBooks and maintain their ledgers weekly. I have done it weekly and monthly basis. I request them for their statement, and then match their statement with me with my statement, and reconcile it. If any invoices or any payments missed, then I coordinate with them and maintain the ledger properly.
Okay. For Bill.com, we are just starting to leverage that for some of our larger clients here. And so we're still relatively new to it, but I just had a meeting with them yesterday because I have a large client that we're looking at putting on this. And we do use it for a few clients, but we haven't really rolled up our sleeves and gotten in there. So have you dealt with the it sounds like you've dealt with the payable side of Bill.com. Have you dealt with the receivable side of Bill.com yet?
No, I am
Where
not
customer
done.
invoices are in there.
No, I have not done that much for the receivable.
Okay.
But yes, I have a pretty good experience in it. I am not on a large number of scale. I am not did yet, but at
Neither
few
have
invoices,
I.
for a few invoices, I did that.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. As far as so with this large client that we're onboarding now, they have a complicated accounts receivable. We're trying to set up processes to make certain that these are managed well and trued up with the customers. So I would imagine that generating statements and generating, reconciling between what the customer has and what we have. I mean, that's very similar to what you're doing on the payable side. It's just reversed.
Yes.
Okay, so in QuickBooks, are you familiar with invoices, credit memos, receiving the payments, that whole bit as well?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I am a pretty comfortable with the credit memo, and also creating a debit notes for that.
Okay, and what about so we do a lot of stuff with QuickBooks desktop and online, but how's your experience with each, with both desktop versus online?
I have done similar experience with the QuickBook Desktop and QuickBook Invoice. I am using that software since last two and a half year, both
Okay.
parallelly. So I can do QuickBooks at the same time of desktop.
Okay, perfect. Let's see, we have inventory in some of ours that we're dealing with as well. How's your inventory experience?
I have a pretty much good experience of inventory. I have did it for one client for around 6 to 7 months. Actually, we have prepared that in Excel.
Okay.
Yeah, maintain in Excel, and then in
Making journal entries over to QuickBooks.
yes, directly single journal entry in QuickBooks.
Okay, so that's more of a periodic inventory, whereas perpetual inventory is when you're tracking each thing through the system in QuickBooks. Have you tracked inventory in QuickBooks before?
No, I have not done it yet.
Okay, no, and that's okay. We just need, it's Ted's and my job to figure out what our team members are good at and to pull out their highest and best use, and to train on the areas that you don't. So, so no is a perfectly acceptable answer. It's, let me continue through here because you've answered most of my questions. I see budget forecasting and preparation, and cash flow statements. So those are both important to us because we have not been able to, we've been so busy, we haven't focused on adding that, but that's a value add that we want to just start tacking on to our clients. So being able to create some of those and the forecasting and the budgets, because a lot of other bookkeepers aren't doing that either. And so if we can do it and make it automated, and here you go, then that's just one more reason why people come to us over, the other bookkeepers. Let's see here with, looks like your technology is decent for everything that we're doing. You do say bill.com, QuickBooks Online Desktop.
It's okay.
I feel, okay, yeah, here's where we're talking about payroll. I feel pretty comfortable with this. Do you have any questions that you'd like to ask for Ted or I? What that would help make certain this is a fit for you?
Yeah, how many members are there working with you?
We have
In the
9
office.
right now here in-house.
Okay.
So we're the main reason that we're looking at outsourcing is because we are growing so quickly, we can't hire people here quick enough. It is, we're in an interesting market, unfortunately, here in our area where people would rather sit on the couch with their feet up than work. And it's, yeah, so we
Don't
can't.
even-
So we can't hire quick enough here. We have not outsourced before. Well, that's not fair. We did try it briefly a few years ago, but we didn't do it properly. Ted and I have put a lot of time into our processes, talking with our team, figuring out how this would work. So we're set up for success now, where we believe this will really work. But this is our first go at this. So. Attitude and accountability are 2 of our top core values here. So we know that we're not going to be perfect through this. We're going to drop the ball on some of these, and we just want to make certain that we can keep a good attitude about it, work on the problems, and figure out how to make things better. We're very process driven with that. So what do we need to do to make this a win for you? To make this exciting for you, to make this something that you look forward to every day.
For looking for a good thing, I connect with the people mostly. So how many people I merge, or how many people I can connect? They can give me something a new experience or new idea or something new to me. So I think to reading someone's mind and to connect with someone, that's give you the most beautiful experience, and that can also gives you a better way to improve yourself. So with the one mind to second mind, you can expand your ideas and experience.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Let's see. Ted, do you have anything else that you'd like to to cover here?
No, it sounds like you covered everything. You said you've been, how long were you with Integrity? I thought you said 8 months, but I may be mistaken.
It's around 1 year with the
1 year?
integrity. Sorry, it says I think 8 to 9 months, not more than that.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, so Nikhil, I appreciate it. I think I have what I need here. We are trying to make a decision pretty quickly. We'll probably we need to meet with our team, but we'll probably have an answer by tomorrow.
Okay, no problem. And
Wonderful.
thank you very much for your time. If I got
Yeah,
the chance to work with you, it will be a great opportunity for me.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Mhm.
Freaking ROI.
Hey,
Hi, how are you?
yeah, I'm fine. How are you?
I am doing okay. Give me just a quick moment here. I was just taking down the last of my notes here.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
Jeet. It's Jeet Patel.
Okay, wonderful.
Excellent.
I have that. I wanted to pull up your resume. Please give me just a moment. I want to refresh myself on your resume so I can ask the
Okay.
right questions.
Sure.
Okay. Booking right us multiple clients. Good deal. Very software. Drag this back down here. Okay, sales tax, payroll rec, ARAP.
Yeah.
Reports, reservoir construction material, client issues. Wonderful. What do you know about us so far? Anything at all?
Good.
Yeah,
Sorry.
what do you know about us? I don't know the process here. Do they talk with you? Do they tell you about who you're going to be talking with at all?
Oh, I just know about you. I go with your site, your firm site, and know about something, your softwares and your working procedures and all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So ultimately, we're a bookkeeping firm. We don't do any taxes. We
Okay.
work with our different CPAs in the area, our client CPAs. So we have to give them accurate information because the CPAs are compiling everything, doing the tax planning and the returns. We have to make certain that everything before that is accurate. So and we want to be able to provide accurate and timely information to our clients
Yes.
so that they can make good business decisions. So our main reason for this is our first foray into really into outsourcing some of this or working with remote workers. It's not really outsourcing. And we've spent a lot of time making certain that we set this up so this would work for us. But main reason is because we're growing so quickly, we're not able to find enough people here in our area that are willing to work. So it's that's our main issue for growth. So we're looking for people that are good with attention to detail, good attitude, and good problem solving. And the more of this that we can get going, yeah, we can get more done. So our average clients, well, we have on the small side, we have some that will take a few hours a quarter. We have others that are, half a day a month. And we have some that we're taking 2 full-time positions for. So there's a variance here. The average clients that our core is that we're focusing on here now really are about 6 to 8 hours a week is really our core of what we're focusing on. Maybe a full day a week. So looking at here, it looks like you've done bookkeeping and write-ups. Just for definition, write-ups for you, is that catching up old stuff, or is bookkeeping and what's the difference between bookkeeping and write-up from your perspective?
From my perspective, bookkeeping is managing the things, financials and what comes like in books of account. We are having banks and invoices and bills. So managing this is all is the bookkeeping. And write-ups all things means we are going to do every stubs on the particular moment. Whenever we need any particular task, then we have to put on its it's on perfect basis. Like in write-ups, we have to done all the things done by the any periods. And bookkeeping is bookkeeping is a daily basis process.
Gotcha. Okay, good deal. It's important that we understand the terminology that each of us are using. So thank you. So let's see, monthly bank recs and credit card recs, no problem. Recording bills, cash payments and sales. Okay, no. You had mentioned accounts payable and accounts receivable maintenance and reconciliations. What are some of can you tell me about your payables and how you manage that with some of your clients that you worked with in the past?
Previously, I was working on different clients, and one of the client is from the food court, and then I need to record daily basis of inventories and all the things which is because of food. It's business of food trucks, so they have a daily basis inventory ups and downs. So record these things. And for the AP and AR, once I was working with automobile company. Then they were found some problems in accounts receivable and accounts payable. They were not matching up the balances. Then my senior accountant was in USA, but he also stuck on this, and he asked me to clear these things short. And he asked me to please clear this, because he didn't find the problems why these balances are not matching up. And then I worked on this task 2 or 3 days, and I solved it. And then after, my accountant is having trust on me, and then after that, he always used to review his work for account receivable and accounts payable to me. Please check this
Perfect.
and review my things, it's done or not. Because as a bookkeeping is a like whenever you are doing bookkeeping, bookkeeping is a accurate, detail oriented, because any bookkeeper is a like a foundation of accounting. Whenever you are checking financials, it's come from bookkeeping, basic codings and bills, invoices. So from there, so we have to detail oriented and accurate data to
Right.
manage books. Yes.
Garbage
So
in, garbage
yeah,
out. And so,
because
yeah, I
yes,
completely get it.
I always review my work 2 or 3 times before I submit to client, because when, as a bookkeeper, if I make mistakes, then it's go upsides. Yeah.
So that is good. I like that you double check your own work.
Yes.
Has that impacted your speed much? Because there's a balance, of course, between it has to
Yeah.
be right, but we still
Yes.
want to be efficient with our time. So
Yes.
I had a young man that worked for us at one point, and his stuff was immaculate, but
Yeah.
it took him 3 times as long to do the work. So we actually lost money on the on the clients.
Yes.
So most of our team, we've gotten to the point of double and making certain our information is
Yes.
right, and
Yes.
then working on speed. So, and it sounds like you've done this for a while. So, but has your double and triple checking there, which is incredibly important, has that
Yes.
impacted your speed at all, or have you figured out how to do those together?
No, I figured it out all things together, because of I know if I charge more time on same things, like I coded some transaction 200 or 300 transaction, it will take 2 or 3 hours minimum.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
if I code them, and then after I review them, so it take time. But whenever I am coding, then I double check with the previous history of accounts, the previous transactions, and then after I code this, and then after I check the categorized transactions and I make procedures for every task. If I have any uh, talk talking about AR and AP. So whenever I doing on this particular task, then I always make balances. What balances are first when I started work, that time what balance was, and then I complete the task, and at that time what balance, and I tying up the balances, it's matching or not, and it's
Gotcha.
yeah, it's done within a time. It's
Perfect.
yeah.
And I imagine as you do it more and more, it just
Yeah.
you're picking up speed with it as well.
Yes, exactly. Whenever you are in stress, then obviously whenever you are working under pressure, then your mind is working very fast, because you have a pressure, and then your mind told you please work this, and otherwise you have to face this from your managers or your seniors.
No, I understand that. That
Yeah.
is wonderful. So a lot of ours, there's two main areas of what we do. Some of it is just the regular bookkeeping of,
Yeah.
whether it be, and I'm going to use bookkeeping and write up kind of in the same area though, because it's all still, whether it's catching up or whatnot,
Yes.
it's bookkeeping. So we do a lot of that is just the same thing over and over again. And yes, there are various things that that differ, or problems that come up that we have to research and things like that.
Yes.
Especially, I'll give you an example. We have a client. This is one that we need help with immediately. This is a big one that we have that we're replacing the 2 people for. And they are one of the things that we're doing is creating invoices for them.
Yes.
So they have about 20 to 25 invoices a day.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take any more than a couple hours. We have someone in-house here doing it right now, and they're working through and figuring out the pitfalls and figuring out the things that we run into that aren't
Yes.
ideal and that we need, so we can fix the process.
Yes.
So one piece of it is going through and doing those day after day, and there are things that we have to fix and research and talk with the team and things like
Yes.
that on those. But we have a lot of other stuff that is frankly just, here's payroll journal entries, here are bank statements to enter and reconcile and code, and it's pretty rote. The third area, so you have very easy entry and reconciliation. You have some that take a little bit more problem solving where you got to pay attention to that. And then the third one is, well, I'll give you an example. I was setting up a payroll yesterday, and it wasn't, the prior bookkeeper from another company did not do it correctly. So we're having to figure out what's right, what's not, kind of unravel this big knot and figure out. So there, you would have all three type of things. The unraveling of the knots would be tactical. We wouldn't just be dumping this on your lap. We'd be giving you some direction, but it sounds like you'd be able to unravel that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sure. Because whenever I found this type of challenges in work, then I want to learn something. I always learn something from any kind of task or any kind of projects. So I always learn something new, because whenever we are trying to whenever you are free, then it's wasting of your time. So yeah, I like to improve my skills on things, and mostly for my particular industry. Whenever I was I'm working.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Let's see here. You mentioned monthly sales tax. We don't do a lot of sales tax here. Oregon, we're fortunate. We have a high income tax, but we don't have sales tax. But we do run into that with clients that are in multi-state. So it's good that you have that. Same thing with payroll reconciliation. We don't do returns here in-house. We leverage other systems, but it's important to understand the different taxes and whatnot. And I obviously wouldn't expect you to understand our local taxes, but we can explain all of that. It's good to understand it so that things can be entered right. Because if you don't know, let's see, payroll process, make journal entries, preparation of various monthly reports. Can you give me an example of some of the reports that you might create for someone?
Like first of all, AP and AR balance sheets, and then sales invoice reports, and what I think banking and reconciliation report, if client wants reconciliation report bi-weekly, monthly, or balance sheets and P&L reports.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Yes. So they
have you done much cash flow budgets, things like that?
Yes, I was using cash flow tools software for cash flow, because yes. So previously, when I was in one CPA firm, they were using cash flow tools for the doing cash flow, and they are giving me to done the things for cash flow. Like for doing cash flow, we need to code the transaction, then reconciliation first, and then after we can do the cash flow, because what are the futures, and what inventory you are using, how many AR and APR you are currently in use, or how many you get the payments, and how many bills we have to pay. So
perfect.
Yeah, and sometimes one of the previous company I was working update HUL budget.
Okay,
By the balance.
budgets versus actuals and whatnot.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So I was using previous 3 or 6 months data for updating HULs, and they give me the current month statement, and then I have to put the HULs and forecasting.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's see. You mentioned experience in different industries: restaurant and bar, automobile, construction, and medical. 2 things. Can you tell me about the medical?
Yes, medical. They are purchasing medicines and lots of things which are including in hospitals. And I have
Okay.
to yes, I have to put regular coding. That client was for desktop QBO desktop, so they are giving me to categorize the transaction in Excel sheets. They have Excel sheets. They made Excel sheet for the coding. I have to put data on this Excel, and then after I have to upload all the things in the QBD, and then after I have to reconcile this, and then after I review this, and they are having a procedure for the particular things. And for the medical, so they are fixing some they are fixed some procedure like this particular things is comes this under this categories. So like they are purchasing medicines, so they for them uh, this is cost of goods sold.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so one more, and this will go a little bit more in depth here. Construction. So
Yeah.
that's my background. I used to build homes and sell real estate in a family business 25
Okay.
years ago. And
Yeah.
it's,
Great.
oh my God, it's been 25 years. Anyway, time goes too quickly. As a result, we don't focus on construction here, but we get a lot of construction in, and it may be something that we actually start focusing on. So
Okay.
when I go to construction accounting,
Okay.
it's more, if it's done properly, it's more complex than a lot of the other clients that we do.
Yes.
And it breaks down into a few different categories. The trades, which are
Yes.
framers, plumbers,
Yeah.
electricians. This big client that we just took on, and I worked with him from 2008 to 2012 as
Right.
well. But they do central vacuum systems where they put the pipes in the walls and it all runs
Yes.
through. Those are those typically do small, they don't do as much project costing. They might do job costing to where they say, hey, this labor, this materials went to this job, but that's
Yeah.
it. When
Yes.
you get to remodelers and home builders, I tend to do
Okay.
more project costing. And that's where not only are we putting the bills and
Okay.
the payroll towards jobs,
Yeah.
saying which customer and which job, but we're also using items. So now I can,
Yes.
and this is where you start to get detailed budgets versus actuals, or really estimates versus actuals for construction.
Yes.
And we're using items set
Okay.
up properly in QuickBooks, and most bookkeepers don't know how to do that. We do,
Yes.
so we can
Yes.
help. But have you, so those are the different main categories. But if can you tell me about the construction clients that you worked with, and then I'm going to have a couple follow-up questions on what you can do there.
I work when I start my journey with bookkeeping, like 1.5 years ago, I was working on this company, and it's MERS plumbing and something like that. Uh, they were using contractor labor.
Okay.
Yes. So for and anyone wants any particular services, then they are providing the labor contractors, and some items they are purchasing from their side, because whenever one person go to the site and they are saying I have to do this like plumbing and managing this, I have to fix this, and then after he knows what items he needs to complete this, and then after they are ordering that items, and then after we have to put in particular category in the QuickBooks. So for which perfect work, which work we need which item, so we have to justify the items. Then after we can code or categorize the transactions for the
Okay, wonderful. So with that, have you ever done anything like, well, I'll tell you about a problem that runs up often in construction like this, and they are customer deposits.
Sure.
So what happens, a lot of bookkeepers here don't understand it, and they'll create an invoice in December for a job that they're doing in February, and they're going to take $5,000 down or whatever the case. The problem is they book it to income immediately, and now the client's paying tax on it. They don't have any of the
No, no.
expenses yet to offset it. So we have a defined process that we've created for
Okay.
customer deposits. We end up reconciling it just like a clearing account almost.
Okay.
And so we actually go through and we reconcile all of our balance sheet accounts in QuickBooks. Most of them, we actually go through the official reconciliation process in QuickBooks. So, just like you would for a bank or credit card, but we actually do it for these other liability accounts and things like that. That runs into when you have people that have a lot of that or jobs that span over multiple months. One problem that plagues companies like this is getting their expenses and their income to be in the same periods.
Yes.
Whether it be month to month or even in the same year if
Yes.
things cross. So that's when we leverage completed contract method.
Yeah.
So everything dumps into an asset. Everything that we paid for a job goes into an asset. Everything we've collected from a customer goes into a liability. And then when they close out the job, we ask them each month, okay, which jobs have you got all your expenses in on? Which ones are closed? And then we do the journal entries and whatnot to move those to the right. We move them from the balance sheet to the profit and loss at that point. And there's sometimes we train them to do it, and if we're working with them, and there are some back and forth and research and whatnot. So first off, have you ever done anything like that? And well, let's start with that. Have you ever done any completed contract method or anything like that?
Yeah, I've completed like this because one of my client was a very accurate person. He wants to be very accurate, and anything was made up mess, then he was like boom. And at that time he made the procedure like you have a procedure but not accurate like your procedure, but they are reconciling the contractor payments and incomes, but they are doing particular if if any contractor paying any expenses or they get the money from the client, then they have to do one thing. All the transactions for all the transaction they are giving one credit card for the contractor, and all the transaction made from this credit card or particular bank accounts. And then after we are doing the reconciliation, we are coding that credit card transaction by asking the contractor for which item or which kind of things you done from this expense. So they give me, yes. So they are giving the particular explanation about the expenses which is made from credit card or banks, and then after we have to code that like he said, and then after we are reconcile that process.
Okay, yeah, so that's really good for the project and job costing, and it's necessary for the completed contract.
Yeah.
The next piece is really just making the journal entries and going through that. So it sounds like you might need some assistance with that, but it wouldn't be horrible. So it's because again, we have a defined process. So let's see here. I don't think we haven't talked about payroll yet, have we?
No.
Okay, and forgive me, this is our fourth one, so I'm trying to remember what I said to each person so far. We end up doing a lot of payroll. None of it's fully in-house. We're not doing returns. I think I mentioned that, but we are making certain that things are set up right and such. So if we were to give you, so for the specialty contractor that we have that I mentioned, we have to go through and make certain that they were charging the right amounts or collecting the right amounts for healthcare, for retirement plans, for other insurance, and things like that. It sounds like reconciling that is a piece of cake for you. Okay, perfect. Because I don't really have any other questions around that. Let's see, financial statements, month end. Yeah, all of this is great here. Tell me about your experience between desktop and and online rather, QuickBooks Desktop and QuickBooks Online. Yeah.
For rest of for me, both are the same, because for doing work you have a clear concepts and fundamentals. all things are from this, but for QVD, we have to work in RDP. So sometimes clients' network are down, sometimes our networks are down. So sometimes RDP is working very slow and it's irritating the person. But from this, because I have started my journey as a bookkeeper, and my first client was like he is only using QuickBook Desktop, and the patience I learned from that part because yeah.
Yes, we have been there. So we don't work with any clients that aren't that don't have a dedicated hosting solution set up for that. So we in the past we had worked with, and I don't want to say none. There is a couple that we'll do consulting with or whatnot, but there are some that will have us that used to have us log into their system with TeamViewer or some of these others. We don't do any of that anymore. We actually have our own hosted server through Amazon.
Yes.
And it's all managed for us, or through Microsoft rather. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you, Ted. I saw his head shake and I knew where I had gone wrong.
I forgot I wasn't on mute.
Yeah. See, I go home, my wife tells me where I'm wrong. I come in here and Ted tells me where I'm wrong. I love it. It's no, so through Microsoft, and we have that managed. Thomas from our team in-house is adept at keeping it all running, and we have an outsourced IT company that backs him up as well. So so all of the work would be done on our it's an RDP, but we don't have problems with it. It is quick. That will also solve any issues as far as logging into websites or whatnot. If you're logging into our server, it's going through the and then logging into either online or any of this stuff, then we have a little bit more control over making certain it's right, and also it originates from wherever the server is rather than from where you are. So anyway, we do a lot of work. So I understand the problem as far as connecting. You won't have to deal with that with us. Ours is pretty solid because it slows us down too if we can't do that. We do a lot of QuickBooks Online as well, but those clients frankly are simpler or tend to be a little more simple. With our desktop clients, they tend to get, we find that most of our outsourced accounting, our larger clients are using desktop. Have you used Enterprise at all versus Pro and Premier?
I 1 or 2 months because I don't have proper knowledge about this, but I can learn.
Of course. Yeah. And the softwares are very similar. Pro and Premier versus Enterprise, it really just unlocks new features. So Enterprise goes to more a higher number of simultaneous users, which we don't really run into a ton, but also higher customer counts and more complicated inventory. So and frankly, any of the inventory that we run into, we're trying to make pretty simple. So what do we need to do to make this a success or a win for you? Something that you're excited to do every day?
It's like for me, I have to do new things is encouraging me. And I always use reading books for entrepreneurships and like for accountings and lots of CPAs. I have worked under lots of CPAs, and some of these are write up some books about financials. So I was using I read these books and improving my knowledge.
Yep. No, sorry, I had a note here. Okay, so now that makes sense. So we do a lot of new things that way, but so the only thing I want to be careful of is that a lot of our stuff is month to month. Sometimes sometimes it is the same thing over and over. There are problem solving and whatnot that comes into, like where I talked about the 3 different levels. Sometimes it's just entry. Fortunately, it's on different clients, so that tends to break up the monotony. On the ones that we're doing the same thing over and over again, it is there are still well, like those invoices that we're creating, we're still figuring out what's wrong. We're still having to talk with the team, not just our team, but sometimes our clients' teams, and figure out, okay, why is this not billed correctly? And then, of course, we do have our projects of new things coming in where we need to unravel this ball of yarn and get it fixed.
Yes.
So Ted will be right back here. So yeah, I don't think there will be any problem with it, but I just want to make certain that there's no, if you are doing a lot of the same thing over and over, then
Yes.
yeah, sometimes that can get monotonous. Ted and one of the things that Ted and I are really good at is figuring out the highest and best use for each team member.
Yes.
And even though you're not physically here, we'd be treating you just like one of our team members here, which
Yes.
means we'd be pouring into you for some education and helping you grow in different areas. At
Yes.
first, frankly, we just need to get a lot of our tasks done. But as this works out and we really figure out what you're good at,
Yeah.
those are the types of projects that we want to give your direction. I think you had mentioned that someone, gave you all of their all of a particular type of project once they figured out that you were really good at it.
Yes.
And we do the same thing, but we're really good at figuring that out. So this will change over time too, as you learn more and we figure out what you're great at. And so that all makes sense to me. Is there anything that you'd like to ask us that that you have questions about, or to make certain this is a fit for you?
Yeah. Which kind of industry do you have work, like mostly?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we are still dealing. We still deal with a lot of construction. Okay. That is. I need to figure out the percentage right now for my dashboard, if nothing else, but it's not, I haven't looked at what percentage it is. Frankly, we've been turning away clients because we don't have enough work to do it. But I've been dealing with a lot of construction clients. We've never focused on it, but again, we might, because the construction accounting is a little bit tougher. And that's why I went into more detail with you. That's one of the things I liked about yours, is that you have done some of that. And with that problem solving and double checking, it's moved you up the list. So
because double checking is doing double checking within a time period is a great. And I can say this because I am great at this.
Okay, perfect. Let's see, what is other ones that we have, we have some restaurants, but very few. We have a lot of professional services. We do have some medical, and they act a lot like professional services. I end up doing flow charts for all of our clients, of which we call it our roadmap, and it kind of lets us know what we're doing, and we get the client on board, so we know that we have a meeting of the minds that they know what we're doing and we know what we're doing. So anyway, so there's a lot of them in there. I think I have everything that I need for here. So I really appreciate your time. This is cool. We are trying to make a decision pretty quickly because frankly, we need help. So we're going to meet as a team after this, and I'm hoping to be able to make a decision by tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you. It's nice to meeting you. And thank you,
Gene. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, have a great day.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Hello.
Hi there.
How are you?
Good. Do I pronounce your name viral or viral?
No, it's viral.
Viral. Okay, good deal.
Yes.
I try to be particular with names, and so thank you. My business partner Ted, he had to take another call real quick. He can hear, but he'll be back in a few minutes. Give me just a quick moment. I just pulled up your resume. I want to refresh myself on it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. How are we on time? I know we got started a little bit late, and I think we had this running through 10. Is it okay if we take 15
Yeah,
minutes still and run over? Or do
yeah, it's definitely okay.
Okay, wonderful. I didn't want to feel rushed and have you get shortchanged being the last one on the list here. So thank you. That's important to me.
Thank you.
It's,
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to for interview.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this. I've been impressed with everybody that that we've been put in front of, and it's encouraging. This is the first time that we tried this shortly 5-6 years ago for a couple projects, and we didn't have it set up right for success. Before we went down this road of finding remote workers this time, we spent a lot of time internally talking with our team internally and making certain that we have our systems and processes set up for this to work. So we're doing this with much more intention. So and I'll give you some more detail on that in a moment. So give me just a second here.
Yeah.
Hands on duty. Weekly payroll tax reporting, AR revenue collections. And I need to put this down here. Okay, wonderful. Review books. And your resume here is in a slightly different format, but it also has a lot more detail, which I like. So I know that I'm going to have more questions as a result of it. So this is good. Write-ups. They will have some experience. Good. Oh, maybe not. Your resume is answering a lot of my questions, but I will want to drill down. Tax filings for 941 and 940. Have an experience to report. Accrual prepaid. It's okay. Expenses Shopify. Okay, good. Okay, wonderful. The hey, you got a birthday coming up. Okay, wonderful. Scroll back up here. Come on, keep going. So I'm going to give you a brief 30,000-foot view of what we do. I know you guys have probably taken a look at our website and whatnot, but
Hi.
that Viral, correct?
Viral. It's Viral.
Viral. Okay,
Yes.
Viral. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I'm slow, but I'll learn. And so thank you. Ted, I went ahead and just looked through the resume. This one is longer, so you might get yourself up to speed on that. But I'll start asking. I'm going to give you a 30,000-foot view of what we do, and then we can drill down to some of the other questions. We are essentially a bookkeeping firm. We don't do any taxes for our clients. We actually work with our client CPAs, and that's where a lot of our business comes from, because most other bookkeepers in the area they don't really understand accounting. They understand pieces of it, but not the big picture of it. So CPAs love it when they get stuff from us. It's correct. So that accuracy is a very important thing for us.
Yeah.
There's 9 of us here internally. Main reason that we're looking at finding remote workers is it's been very difficult to find people here that genuinely want to work. And especially with the way that we're growing right now, Ted and I have been turning away clients because we don't have enough bandwidth to do some of this stuff. So that's what we're hoping, that we can, after we get one person on, then I think this is, as we figure out the process and get this working, it's our hope that we hire more. So it's and maybe pretty quickly. So we'll figure that out. we work in a bunch of different industries. We are pretty heavy in construction. Some of our construction, there's a few different areas of construction. Some are just trades that are pretty easy. Others get into complicated project costing and things like that. But the vast majority of our clients, we have some people that we spend a couple few hours a quarter on, others that will spend a half a day a month. Our core client that we're focusing on is about a day a week. And we have another one right now that we're replacing 2 full-time people for. So we have one that we're working on that has 6 full-time people that they want us to take everything over for, but we're not there yet. And that 2 full-time people one, it's a specialty contractor, but they have a lot of small sales. That's our immediate need, which will take about half of this time. So I'm going to ask a lot of questions around that, but our core clients, it's reconciling bank accounts. It's making certain, the credit card transactions are in there, are coded properly, payrolls booked properly, and moved on. For this larger client, we're doing a lot of, we're doing the whole thing, and I've actually mapped out the whole accounting process. There's still a lot of cleanup items and efficiencies because the 2 ladies that this client had in for the last year couldn't do anything right. Down to the, and I'm trying to be polite, but they couldn't put the correct date on transactions. It's that bad. So it's so that accuracy and attention to detail is really important to us. When I see here, it talks about so payroll tax reporting, the hands-on duties. What this role so far is very hands-on. I mean, it's doing a lot of the daily transactions, and it can work into wrapping up the end of the month stuff. Initially, it'll be on the smaller clients. Eventually, we can do it on some of the bigger clients. But you mentioned payroll tax reporting. We don't do any payroll in-house, so we're leveraging other systems. So they do all the returns, which is really great. But we do have a lot of setups and things like that. So can you tell me a little bit about your payroll experience?
Yeah, for payroll, initially as I joined as a bookkeeper and bookkeeper accountant, so my client follow the process like weekly method, bi-weekly method for process for payroll. So I just process the payroll, all the things like their name of the employee, their working hour, their paper hours, their Medicare expenses, their social security payables, their federal taxes, their state unemployment tax. All the adjustment have been done, and then all the processing part I have been done, and then it is gone to my senior for their approval. Once it is approved, then then the payroll run by themselves, and I just download the report through ADP software, where I download the report and put the journal entries into QuickBook Online for the payroll.
Wonderful. Okay, then that's so you have used other systems, and so initially we're going to. Payroll is one of those things that gets very, very sticky with clients. At the beginning of the relationship here, we're going to be doing all of the payroll processing through here. But I would love to get to a point to where if some of these are, as we build confidence and get through this relationship, that you'd be able to do some of those. And that is, so it's good that you have that. Yesterday and day before, I was setting up a complicated payroll in QuickBooks for 65 employees, this multi-state, and the prior bookkeepers didn't do it properly. This is for a different company. So we're having to figure out what's correct, what's not correct, and figure out what we need to fix for moving forward. It sounds like that's right up your alley as well, that you can take care of that stuff. If we give you the right data, you can say, okay, this is what was withheld, this is what it should have been, and this is what we need to correct on the next payroll. Is that accurate?
For recording payroll, firstly, I download the report and enter all the details. Firstly, we prepare the spreadsheet for the same and put the formulas and all, and then enter into all the details into the QuickBooks. So it is better to record everything properly.
Gotcha. So let me reword my question because I don't think I got that across quite right. We have, so So I have 2 payrolls that were processed in 2022. We're not going back to the old stuff yet for this particular client. I do have another one that we do have to go back for. And we have to, the payroll's already processed, but we know that there's some stuff wrong with it. If we walk you through the beginning stuff of saying, okay, this is what should have happened, it sounds like you should be able to, figure out the, what should have been done correctly, and making certain the right medical insurance was charged to the employees, making certain that the right 401k or retirement plans are coming out, make certain that the right taxes were charged to the right people. And again, we'll tell you what they all should be, but if we give you all this data, are you able to reconcile those and come back to us with, okay, for each of these employees, this is what needs fixed?
Yeah, firstly, we have to download the reports and check each and every employees, each and every employees check whether they have been properly working hours and their taxes was cut in their part of the salary. So we have to check all the things properly in an appropriate manner, and then we again pass the journal entry for the same.
Okay, gotcha. So we're doing, so a lot of this job initially is regular transactions as we catch up on things. So it's not the fixing things. We are going to have areas where it's fixing and saying, here, we need this area, this problem identified. Here's all the data we have, ask questions, we'll figure it out. But a lot of this is just, well, this big client that we just brought on, there's, right now, we're still fixing some stuff, but we're still spending about 2.5 hours a day just doing their invoices. They have about 20 to 25 invoices a day. There's questions and whatnot. So there is a lot of the that hands-on daily stuff. There is a little bit of problem solving along with that and making certain that things are right, especially as we improve the process and make it better and more efficient. Does that kind of work? I know for some people it gets old because it's the same thing over and over. Is that a problem for you?
No, it is not at all problem. As a part of bookkeeper, we have to record each and every invoices appropriately. So not at all issue for it. And whether it is same transaction or other transaction, we have to give our quality at same level for all the invoices.
Yep.
For recording invoices, I generally follow the method. For instance, if it is a restaurant industry, then they provide me the access to the third-party software. So I just I just see the daily sales from there and record their sales into the QuickBook. Prepare the invoice into the QuickBook online, and then receive the deposits, all the, whether it is credit card, cash deposit, gift card. If it is a gift card, then I receive all the receipt payment against receipt invoice against the receipts against the invoices, and then make the deposits into the QuickBook, make the deposit into the banks.
Perfect. If there are other systems, so some of our clients are using field service programs and whatnot for operating their businesses. Service Titan and Service Fusion are 2 of them that we have that clients are using right now. You don't need to understand them yet, but it's how are you at navigating new softwares and figuring things out that maybe you haven't done before?
Yeah, for figuring out software, firstly, I tried myself by Google it out and see the video on YouTube, and then try myself to sort the problem. If I am unable to solve, then I ask to my CPA and my client for solving me out. And if he provide me the video for the same, then I do accordingly.
Okay, perfect. And we're very good at building our processes in here on doing this and this and this. And so I think I mentioned we have a team of 9 here right now. And my goal is that that we get everything lined out with instructions on how to do things. But it is really good that you're able to figure some of that stuff out, on your own as well. The general thing that I'll tell people is, hey, spend a little bit of time trying to figure it out. If you start to spin your wheels, ask a question, because I'd rather take that time. And one, yes, you do need to figure out how to solve some of your own problems. But if you get stuck, I don't want someone spending an hour or 2 hours trying to figure something out when we can solve it in 20 minutes with a quick call. So there is a balance there, but I do like that
Yeah.
you are able to research things. Let's see, AP processing, okay, discount negotiations, preparing cash flow statements. Again, with your resume is more detailed than some of the others, so this is answering a lot of my questions already. Bank recs, credit card recs, general ledgers, journal entries, no problem. These are all pretty rote. Maintained Excel spreadsheets. How is your Excel experience?
Yeah, my Excel experience is very good. I know about VLOOKUP formula, HLOOKUP formula, pivot table as well. So
Okay, wonderful.
I give myself as a 10 out of 8 number to me for Excel
Okay.
purpose.
Perfect. That's helpful because Excel is really good for reconciling stuff and figuring it out, and then also customizing reports. It's not as necessary in just the day-to-day, but I find that when people understand Excel really well, they're better problem solvers.
Yeah,
So
I vividly remember that one of my client, once I found the difficulty in AR reconciliations, so I just download the report through third-party software and prepare the spreadsheet for the same and put the VLOOKUP formula for the same and find a problem for find the problem for why the AR is not reconciled properly.
perfect. Tell me about your experience of QuickBooks Online versus QuickBooks Desktop.
Yeah, I use both the software as similar point because some clients are follow the some clients are follow the QuickBook Online while some are follow the QuickBook Desktop. So I have to work on both the software on each day. So I have both the knowledge appropriately, both the software knowledge appropriately.
Gotcha. Because they both do operate differently. We have everything on we have a remote hosted server with Microsoft that's managed, and a lot of our clients log into this as well. So it would be very easy to still get into desktop, and we're going to be able to set up users and control all those. But with QuickBooks Desktop, we tend to get more into some inventory and things like that. Our larger clients that we're working with, we find tend to be on desktop. Are there any areas that you feel that you can improve upon with either software? I mean, are there things that you might need some help getting going on? Or are you pretty familiar?
No, I'm familiar with the software QuickBook Desktop. As some clients, as I told you that some clients are follow QuickBook Desktop and some are follow some are through RDP. They provide me the RDP for the same, so I have to work on the RDP by QuickBook Desktop. So I used to do all the things like AR recording, account receivable, account payable, reconciliation of them. So this is my daily task for the client. So I have to perform on daily basis the same task. So I know I'm familiar with both the software.
Perfect. Let's see here. Let me, we talked about payroll filing, quarter end, month end, journal entries, tool use online and desktop. Okay, so that's good. Shopify, I like that. We do have some clients we have one that we're onboarding right now that we're going to be using an integration tool from Shopify over to QuickBooks, and there's some reconciliation and whatnot that happens in that. Tell me about your experience with Bill.com.
Yeah, for Bill.com, it is synced with the QuickBook Online directly. So I have to enter the bills into the Bill.com, and it is once it is approved by the manager, then it is directly directly record in the QuickBook Online. So I just match over there whether it is properly recorded or not.
Yep. Awesome. Okay. Have you used Bill.com with QuickBooks Desktop before?
No, QuickBook. I used the QuickBook Bill.com with the QuickBook Online. It is synced with the QuickBook Online only.
Perfect. Okay, so we might have a little learning curve there. This big client that we're bringing in, we're going to be managing their payables, and we're getting QuickBooks. They're on QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise, and they are not currently using Bill.com, but we're going to get that in place. So everything you mentioned there had to do with the payable side. Have you worked with the receivable side of Bill.com before?
No, not I haven't do this, but yeah, it is happen. We pay the bill as through bill.com as well.
Okay, so the reason I asked that is, so we have not leveraged bill.com very much with our clients, but we're starting to as we start doing larger clients. One of the things I had a call with bill.com yesterday, and the sales rep didn't fully understand what he had with the receivable side. Essentially, it
Receivables.
created a portal for all of the customers. So our clients' customers to be able to log in. So this big specialty contractor, and my client was excited about this because they have a lot of builders that are building homes that may owe them 10, 20 invoices. They'll be able to log in and see a portal of here's here's everything that we own. So it's okay that you don't know that yet. We don't either. We're going to figure it out and we'll define a process around it. But
Yeah.
we are trying to leverage a lot of the software to make very simple and efficient processes for everything that we do. So if we're asking you to do something and you find that there's a better way to do it, is that something that you're able to bring to us so that we can help together jointly build a better process around things?
Yeah, definitely. If you ask me something for process purpose, so I definitely give my inputs on the same and trying to solve the problem in much faster, much faster and in better way to solve the problem. Yeah.
Gotcha. Perfect. Let's see. Email, text follow-ups, wonderful. Technology and whatnot's no problem. Again, we talked about Excel. I love this. Okay. I think I have most of my questions answered. So I got one more here for you though, is what can we do to make certain that this is a success for you, that this is a win, and that this is something that you look forward to doing every day?
Yeah, for every day, once I finish my work, then I give my time to my family as well. And as meaning of success, success is the process. It is not one day we achieve. It is a long time process. So we have achieved our target and our goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it is. And one more things that I just gone through with your website yesterday. So I found that you have written that financial statement are the scorecard of the business. So yeah, I like this point. And yes, bookkeeping is the main things which it is an initial process where we record all the transaction and prepare the balance sheet, and P&L are the second step for the same. But initially we have to record all the transactions. Bookkeeping is the main stage where we record the transaction, give the coding to the transaction, classification to the transaction. So balance sheet are prepared properly. So the if balance sheet is prepared properly and financial statement are attractive, then some listed company are investing in the some listed company are buying the shares. And so yeah, I like the point where you written that financial statement are the scorecard of the business.
Perfect. It's and that's one of the things that we're actually trying to leverage for all of our clients. We have a couple softwares that we're looking at to automate reporting and dashboards. And this is a value add that we're trying to add on to every client. We're already sending them reports and things like that. So we're constantly going through and figuring out how can we make things easier, but how can we also provide more value easily to the clients without having to charge them more?
Yeah.
With the particular dashboard and reporting program, and they're not quite where we want them to be yet, but with that, it should save us time. We're going to have an initial amount of time setting things up, but it should actually save us time in reporting and asking questions and things like that. And it will give them more data each week or month. So we're going through those, and I couldn't agree more. It is if you don't get the bookkeeping in right, you cannot make intelligent decisions about your business. So
yeah, definitely.
Most bookkeepers, though, don't understand accounting, and that's the problem. Is that most bookkeepers are doing data entry, and they don't know how to double check stuff. They don't know when there's a mistake.
Yeah, they don't know the effect, where the effect is going on, and what the impact if we writing something wrong in the bookkeeping, then there's something is wrong in the balance sheet. So they don't know if the effect of how the effect is going on. Yeah. I
We're
remember.
we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
The
I
is
remember
there
one.
anything else that you'd like to, oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I remember one thing that in my past, one of my CPA once my CPA gave me a task to perform, 2000 all years bank transactions have been given to me. So I have to record more than 200 to 2000 transactions into the QuickBook Online. So, I just
Yep.
prepared the CSV for the same and enter all the details and coding and prepare properly CSV and upload the CSV into the QuickBook Online directly. So,
Perfect.
it saves, it took me around 4000 it took me around 4 hours, so it saves time, both my time as well as client time as well as CPA's time. So we charge some and CPA prepare the bills according to their hours of work. So yeah,
Yep.
it saves time of a client as well.
And that we do a lot of importing as well. So that's beautiful. We are fortunate. I have 3 gentlemen on my team, Chris, Thomas, and Jack, that all used to work for Intuit. So
Okay.
they used to train people and deal with support and everything else. So they understand these really well. Chris knows QuickBooks Online better than most people in the West Coast here in America. So it's outside of the people outside of the engineers that work there, and all 3 of them, Thomas, Jack, and Chris, all know QuickBooks Desktop and Enterprise incredibly well. Myself, I've used it since '92 when it was introduced. So it's we end up doing a lot of complicated things with that. We stopped doing consulting. We end up billing really well for consulting, but it's one-time work. And so really what we're focusing on is that the regular bookkeeping, but along with that comes a lot of cleanups, bringing stuff up. And that's where importing things like that, where we're bringing 4,000 transactions in. It's we do a lot of those as well. It's just a matter of formatting things properly. So it's that Excel experience you have makes a big difference there. So
yeah, Excel
yeah,
makes
this is perfect.
Excel makes something some work very easy for us to do. For accounting purposes, it's very useful tool for the for bookkeeper and accountant. It is very useful tool to record to save time as well as record transaction properly manner.
Perfect. Wonderful. Ted, do you have any other questions that you'd like to answer or get answered?
How long have you been there with Integrity?
Sorry?
How long have you been with Integrity?
No, I am not from Integrity. Integrity just gave me the placement to interview and all.
Cool. So,
how long have you relationship with you?
How long's your relationship been with them?
Yes, once it is once I am selected for the interview, and once I selected, then they give me the place to work for you.
Perfect.
Okay. Perfect. And then you said you're comfortable with QuickBooks Desktop very well and online, correct?
Did you hear that? You're familiar with both QuickBooks Desktop and online, you said, correct?
Yeah, I am familiar with QuickBooks Desktop and online both.
Okay, wonderful.
Perfect.
Goodness, I think I appreciate you taking the extra time here, because I know we got started a little bit late, but yeah, I think I have I have everything that we need. We're going to be trying to make a decision pretty quickly here, because again, we're turning away clients, so we need so we should have a decision by tomorrow. And this way we know exactly what how we're going to proceed. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for taking the interview and all the things. Yes, I like to talk with you and all the things.
Likewise, I really appreciate it. So
thank you.
Have a wonderful day. I'll hope to talk to you with you again soon.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Take care. Thank you. Yes. Depend on the actual production.
I think Siobhan is going to be coming back here.
Yes,
Good day, sir. How are you?
I'm good.
The those were, everyone was incredible. I'm very impressed. This is our first time going going back through this. Yeah, so I'm excited here. What would our next steps be?
As for our next steps, will be like there will be 2 to 3 more calls depending upon your availability. First one will be for the IT setup after you have selected your staff, where your account manager Valence will be there. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
And the second call will be the onboarding call, where you will be introducing our staff to your onshore staff, so that they get acquainted, they get familiarized with each other, so that it will be more easier for them to communicate and everything.
Wonderful. Okay, so we need to sit down as a team and talk about our interviews and to compare that with the with the resumes. Are you able to, once this meeting finishes, send us this video real quick, because that will help Ted and I when we're communicating with the rest of our team.
For sure, I will.
Okay, wonderful.
Do you have
So,
any notes for me for the candidates, like if it will help them to improve in the next interview, or
Yeah.
for the next time?
They were all pretty darn good. Ted and I have interviewed lots of people locally, but again, normally they're sitting right here. We didn't really have much of a communication barrier at all. All those
No.
came across. What I'd like to do is, once Ted and I figure out who is the best fit for us, then can we follow up with that time? I've kept some notes here as well, as far as communication, attitude, skill sets, and things like that. I can follow up with that afterward, and once Ted and I have had a chance to discuss this with our team, and then I'll give you some feedback on that. And we'd like to make a decision by tomorrow.
For sure, yes.
So yeah, we're turning away clients, and we're not getting the work we have done here now. So we need to start with one person to make certain that this works. But as we get this through then and get the processes worked out and get them up to speed, that frees us up to start bringing clients back in again, which is good. So
as far as my part is concerned, once you give me the name, I'll be getting credentials for him from our end within a day or two. Rest will be dependent upon the IT team, and later on you, how soon you can introduce him to your team and so on. So
perfect.
I'll take
Okay.
my part will take 1 day max, 1 or 2 day max, after you have given
Yeah.
me the name.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I got it. Ted and I are going to put our heads together and then talk with the rest of our team. How are you going to send us the video? Because I imagine it's going to be too large to email.
No, I will be sending you an YouTube link.
Even better. Perfect. Okay, good deal. I'll look forward to getting that. And silly question, but it's not public on YouTube, is it?
No,
It's a private?
Yes, it's private.
Okay, good deal. Because we did talk about a couple proprietary things in there that we do, so I just want to be careful. Nope,
No.
that's
It is
wonderful.
only seen to those people who when we have shared the link to them.
Wonderful. Okay. Ted, do you have any other questions or anything you need?
No, right at this time we're okay. That's all that we need to do.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. I'll let you go. We'll look forward to getting that link. And again, Ted and I are going to connect immediately, so this way we can, before we're on other projects, while it's fresh. So we'll be back to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
Thank you for the time. You too.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.